Haley. Hey people, welcome to second session for today. It's going to be back to back again. Our first speaker was loaded. A very explosive session. God bless her for doing that for us. And now we are bringing in the second speaker. The second speaker is also going to be throwing a lot of light on the causes and damages of boy children. So if you're raising a boy or you know you're going to raise a boy child, share this link everywhere. Share this link. Let people know that there's an impact going on here. There's a transformation going on here. Don't just be here alone and learning all the things that we are all learning here. Let others know. Be generous with this knowledge. Please be generous with it. Share the link, subscribe to the channel so you don't have hitches watching any of the session. So we're bringing in the second speaker in a moment, and then he will take it off from there.
Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Prince Alex Madojemu. Welcome, sir. How are you doing
Thank you
today?
very much for having me.
Thank you, sir. So,
Uh,
Prince
it's
Alex
like the
is
system
here,
is
and
echoing.
okay, is it still
It's
echoing
echoing.
now?
Uh,
Is it
yes, it's still echoing.
okay?
I'm
Okay,
hearing
maybe.
myself back.
Oh wow. Okay, maybe we
Maybe it's
just
network.
just bring down the tempo. The energy is high. Bringing the synergist himself. So maybe we just come down. The tempo is high. So Prince Alex, you're here to
Yeah.
share with us on a very insightful topic.
hmm
Many of the challenges we have is on the boy child, the boy child, the boy child. And it is because the boy child are going to, or rather, they carry the seed that bets everything that we need or we want to see in lives, in our families, in home, in leadership, everything. So tell us a brief about yourself. We're not streaming your profile. I'm going to be sharing a brief about
Okay.
you. That's my own personal profile about you. But you're going to be telling the public, a brief about yourself, what you do, so that they will know who is speaking to us concerning this topic. Thank you, sir.
Okay. First of all, let me start by introducing myself. My name is Prince Madojemu Alex. I'm a consultant. I'm a TV host. I'm a mind builder. I have an institution called the Mind View Institute. So, what do we do actually in Mind View Institute? One of the things we do is try to help you get in touch with you, which is your mind, transform your life to where you want to be. You see, most of the time we run with programs that we are not aware of. We have a program growing up. Most of the programs are wrong. Most of us grew up in a very toxic environment, and we have consistently. Please, can I remove this thing because actually it's echoing back to me and it's making me feel uncomfortable. I'm hearing myself back.
Hey,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
So,
please do.
what we do actually in that institute? Please let me address these boys. You guys should go. I'm busy. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay, sorry about that. All the children just flooded in, so I have to send them back for me to have my peace. Okay, now what we do, we help individuals transform their mind from the program they are running with actually that some of them are not even aware of it, some of them are aware of it, but they are feel helpless about it. They don't know how to transform. So those are the things we look at. And also one of my major uh, passion is the boy child. And that's why when you said I'm going to be talking about the boy child, I felt so delighted and I can't just wait to pour out myself on it. Because why? When you talk about the causes of damage of the boy child, I was once a damaged boy child. So I'm going to be making my stories, how I'm able to transform my experiences and everything. That's what I'm going to be teaching. That's all.
Thank you so much, sir. It's good to have you on this platform. And I know how tight your schedules are. And then you also had to, you honor this invitation by being here. We don't take it for granted at all. Thank you for being here. We will leave the stage for
Thank
you.
you.
The floor is yours. My pen and paper is here with me because I'm raising three boys and so many other. This is just my biological and so many other spiritual sons, and all the sons around me. So the floor is yours. The next time you see us, you'll be rounding up. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I have already introduced myself, and I have been listening to this all the speakers on this platform. 20 speakers on this platform. And what are they trying to do? What is everybody trying to do? Actually, to equip us how we can actually become a better parent, to be a proactive parent in the 21st century. Because parenting is a very huge business. How would I put it? It's a full-time business. It's not a part-time business. Many of us go into parenting. Actually, we are not equipped. We thought we were. That is the irony. We thought we were. But until we get into it, we discover that we actually weren't prepared for it. And I will give it up to the organizer of this conference because if you were to pay for this conference, you know how much it will cost you to be in this conference, but you're getting it free. And I appreciate the organizer for that. So that have been said, let me delve into because I have almost about 6 minutes is almost gone out of my time. I'm going to be looking at the causes of damage on the boy child, the causes of damages on the boy child. Now, first of all, there is a law which they call the universal law, seven universal law. I think among them are the law of attraction, the law of polarism, the law of gender, and the law of cause and effect. I'm going to be basing my teaching on the law of cause and effect because we're looking at the causes of the damage of the boy child. The law of cause and effect said for every effect, there is a cause. It said that nothing just happened. For everything that happened, there is a cause behind. There is a move, there is a push behind what happens. So every effect, you see, the funny thing is we see the effects, okay? We see the effect, behaviors and effects. There is a cause to those behaviors. When somebody is have anger problem, or somebody is promiscuous, or somebody tell lies, or somebody is an alcoholic, but somebody is addicted to drugs. All these are effects. They are actually not the cause. Okay, all these things we see are effect, they are not the cause. So we are going to be looking at the causes of the damage to a boy child. Now let me say this, why are we particular about the boy child? Now, no matter how well you try to raise your girl child, many movements have actually started up because of how insensitive men have become towards the female folks. Um, Movement like feminism, gender-based violence, gender equality, all these things were given birth to because of men wearing were insensitive or men wearing trained. Okay, let me use that word, men wearing trained on their role and how a woman is to their life. So they say when you don't know the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. So we begin to abuse it, and people who think, oh no, we shouldn't be treated this way. We're created to be treated this way. So they started forming all this movement, and I would say categorically that those movements actually cause more harm than the problem that is trying to solve because most of the approaches applied in that movement actually were completely wrong. To me, I believe that we should focus on gender uniqueness. Yeah, gender uniqueness rather than gender equality because God created a man and a woman differently, uniquely. The woman have her own strength, the man have his own strength. The man's strength is in his muscles, and the woman's strength is in her softness. So those are two unique things. The man's strength is in her masculinity. The woman's strength is in her softness. If you want to influence a man as a woman, go soft on the man. You will have him. If you want to influence the woman as a man, you want to show that how your muscle have your strength can protect her. So you have her. So those are actually most of the things that we mix up in those movements. Now let's look at the man. The man is an advanced stage of the boy child. When you say we have is a man, that means he have transformed from being a boy to becoming a man. So that's in so doing, we say, oh, he's a man. But let's say this also that man also have to do with function than the state of being. If you say, oh, he's a man, but he doesn't behave like a man, you are not a man. That means he has the features of a man, but he doesn't function like a man. Oh, be a man, man. Man doesn't this how men behave. Man doesn't behave. That means you have the feature, you have the beards, you have the muscles, you have the deep voice like a man, but your function doesn't tally what is expected of a man. That's why somebody would say, "Oh, behave like a man." But also, let's get note of this that a dysfunctional boy child will also grow up to become a dysfunctional adult child. A dysfunctional boy child will grow up to become a dysfunctional man, except something happened. He was able to transform himself like I was able to transform myself from being a dysfunctional boy to a functional boy to an extent I'm still working on myself. Okay, so whatever a boy was, there is probability that he will grow up to become like that, being a man. If he was a functional boy child, he will grow up. There's probability that he will grow up to become a functional boy man. But if he was a dysfunctional boy child, he will grow up to becoming a dysfunctional man. That's why the Bible said, "Grow up, teach." Train up the child the way he will go. When he is old, he will not depart from it. If that make him to be a functional boy child, so that when he grow up to become a man, he also will become a functional man. Okay, so by and large, as that have been said, um, so I said the damaged boy child now, because we're looking at the damaged boy child. The damaged boy child can damage the girl child. Now we spend so much time, so much effort in building the girl child, telling the girl child how to behave as a wife, how to behave as a woman. But who is she going to be in the relationship with? Man, of course. It's like you are training you want let me use this word now. You have a goat. You have spent all your resources. Sorry to use that word, but I want to make a point with it. You have a goat. You have spent all your resources. That you give the best food to this goat. You make sure the goat sleep in a very nice environment, and all of a sudden you release this goat into the midst of wolf, into the midst of lion, because that is what we do. We train our girls and we release these children into the midst of lions. Who are the lions? The damaged boy child. No matter how well this child or this girl child know her rights, know how to behave well, know whatever she knows, because she's going to be in a relationship not only with herself but with another gender. That means there is possibility for her to compromise her value. There's possibility for her to lose her guide. There's possibility for her to compromise her standard because she is in love. You see, most of the things we say, oh, I didn't raise you up to be this way. You raised her well. It wasn't your fault. But what we didn't consider was the environment she's going into. We throw her into a toxic environment, not knowing that the environment is going to negatively influence her. Then now, no matter how we try, like the movement I said before, what was it for? Try to protect the girl child from the man, from the boy child. Who are the boy child? The uncle, the cousin, uh, the driver, the next door neighbor. probably the father. These are the people who abuses the girl child. The girl child does not abuse herself. These are the people, and who are these people? All are boys who grow up to become a man. So a dysfunctional boy child will grow up to become a like a wolf who is looking for whom to devour tomorrow. So that's why it is essential for us to pay more attention to the boy child than we have ever done before now. Because if the boy child know what the essence of his existence, his function as a man, the girl child will automatically be saved. But if this is missing, the girl child is like a sheep thrown in the midst of wolves that is going to be devoured. Okay, so now let's look at actually what actually damaged the boy child. What actually damaged the boy child? I know you are expecting me to say, oh, what damaged the boy child is alcohol, or what damaged the boy child is drug, what damaged the boy child because he joined cults. And don't forget, we're talking about the law of cause and effect. All these things I mentioned are effects of from the causes. The first thing that damages the boy child is the absence of a father or a fatherly figure. Okay, take that thing down. The what damaged the boy child is the absence of a a father or a fatherly figure. Now, whatever a boy child is going to become, whatever he's going to learn from, there are some certain things that a boy child can never learn from the environment of women or from the group of women. He can only learn to be a man in the group of men or in the group, sorry, within himself and his father. That's why it is very essential if you are a single mother, you listen to me right now and you have a boy child, and I will advise you look for a male figure for that boy child. There are some certain things that you cannot teach this boy. There are some certain things. How to be a man is the most confusing stage that a boy child have ever gone through. And more so, how to be a father when he becomes a man confuses him more than anything else. Now, they say you can't give what you don't have. If you weren't fathered, you can't be a functional father. If you weren't mentored by men, you can't be a successful man. Um, Now I will give you, I will relate it to my story. Okay, when my wife was pregnant, or actually, he was pregnant with our child, and at the same time, I was very excited. I'm going to be a father, but I was consumed with one fear: what sort of father was I going to be? Because I was raised in an environment where totally I raised myself in the street. Okay, I was like a street boy, not like I was a street boy. So I never had that fatherly companion, let me say parental care. Let me put that word parental care. So virtually, I grew up in the street. I raised myself in the street, and most of the things, most of the social vices I got myself involved into, I got it from the street because I didn't even know what it takes to be a man, and that fear consumed me so well that sometimes I don't sleep because I remember in 2020, I wrote down in my diary that what I want to become, I want to be the best. I want to be the best dad to my children, the best that I could be, and the best husband to my wife, the best I could be. But now I'm being face to face with the task, uh, becoming a father. So the fear consumes me. What sort of father are you going to be? Are you going to be an assertive father? Are you going to be unemotionally available father? What sort of father are you going to be? And as I think about this, the fear, the more the fear gripped me. So one morning I woke up with the same fear. Okay. And I heard God spoke to me clearly. He said, however you wanted your father to treat you, treat your son like that. And it was like a big relief for me. And immediately I grabbed my pen and my paper. I began to write things down. How would I have loved my father to treat me? I would have loved him to do this to me. I would have loved him to do this to me. I would have loved him to do this to me. These are the things I would have loved him. The list were endless. I started writing them. I started writing. I wrote profusely for over 5 hours. I was still writing. I was writing, I was putting them down, I was putting my wife didn't even know what was happening to me. I was putting them down. And after putting them down, there was a deep sigh of relief inside of me. Now I knew I'm ready and prepared to be a father. Okay? And that was my own experience. Now, why was the fear gripping me? Because I was about to give what I was not giving as a child. This is the reason why many young girl boys will run away and abandon their family, abandon their pregnant wife, and run away. Not because they don't love their wife, not because they don't want the child, because how to be a father have put them in a state of confusion. So the next thing is they will run away. And we begin to think, oh, he's not a man. He doesn't know what it means to be a man because he was not trained to be a man. Peter says, such as I have, I give I unto you. So how will I become a father? And even if I pretend to become a father, I'm going to raise my child. I will not be emotionally available. Because there is nothing. You see, when I talk about the absence of a father, I'm not talking about a father who is not within the environment where the child is growing up. Some fathers could be in the environment, but they are not available emotionally. They are not involved in the life of this boy. They don't see it as a responsibility. They didn't position themselves as a mirror that they will teach this boy of what it takes to be a man. Because the boy child is looking for whom to mirror how to become a man. Now, if you don't teach him that, is somebody else will teach him something else outside. Now, when I was in 26, sorry, I say 1996, thereabout, yeah, I wanted to get admission into the university. Why? Because I wanted to be a man. Be a man in what essence? Not to go and get a degree. Because to me, having a degree have no correlation of being a man. What will make you a man is when you become tough, when you are a cultist, when people fear you. Okay? And I wanted to do that because that's why we see boys you think they leave the house, they're very quiet. Now they are confused about their identity. I'm a man. What makes me a man? What is the process of being a man? What does it entail to be a man? So they have these questions in their mind. They have this state of confusion in their mind. Now, I think TDJ said, um, boys don't succumb to peer pressure, not necessarily out of weakness, but out of uh, what do you call it? Identity crisis. Identity crisis. Who am I? So somebody try to tell you this is who you are. You are the boss here. You are the hitman. You are, and if you many of you will not understand this, I want to tell you. If you any boy you see that have joined a court, you telling them, oh, why would they join the court? You don't know the kind of power he wield when he's a courtist. Everybody dread him. To him, that is the definition of a man. Why? Because he wasn't taught. So no matter what you try to tell him, no matter how you try to tell him, oh, don't drink so that you will have a better life. That is to him is the better life. That is where he exercises his manliness. His manhood is lies in that atmosphere where he drinks, he smokes, he get involved in all manner of social vices. Why? Because he was not properly taught what it takes to be a man. And the only person that can do that for him is the father or a fatherly figure. It could be his grandfather, it could be the most important man in his life, whoever it may be. And in that state of confusion, trying to be whoever he wants to be, somebody call him to be a man, you have to smoke. And you have seen men smoke. To be a man, you have to take alcohol. You have seen men taking alcohol. Being a man, you have to be a cultist. I've seen boys joining cults, and they have seen the kind of power they wear. So he delved into it, and the parents are confused. This is not the child I was trying to raise. This is not the boy I was trying to raise. He was like this in the house. No, he wasn't like this. He was just only looking for opportunity where he can actually express himself. Now, why was he involved in alcohol? Let me read it out. I wrote something down here. Um, I said alcoholism and drug uh, play a part in the high incidence of fatherlessness. That same alcohol numb their own wound to escape the confusion, not knowing how to fulfill their responsibility. Not knowing how to fulfill their responsibilities. Many men succumb to the seductive substance that promise easy way out. Now, I was an alcoholic. Okay, I was an alcoholic in a when I mean very big one. What? Why was I being? See, many people have said, "Oh, why are you an alcoholic? Can't you just leave it? Can't you just move on to something much better? Can't you just be a responsible?" You see, you don't know my strongholds. You don't know. You are talking. You are looking at the effects. You are trying to advise me based on the effect you are seeing. You don't know the causes of the effect you are seeing. That's why if you want to, I always say, don't ever try to advise anybody because of the effect you are seeing without you knowing the causes of those effects. Because it's not going to work. It's going to frustrate you. You're going to think, oh, this person doesn't listen to me. It's not that he doesn't want to listen to you. The causes, the underlying causes are too big for him to handle that you don't understand. So if you want to advise him, is first of all, dig out the causes of all these things. That's why when I introduce myself, I said, we have an institution that will actually help you transform yourself from the programming that you have from childhood that you don't even know that are running with you, because many of us we run with programs that we actually didn't know. Our fears, our self-doubt, our limitations were programs that way, because we grew up in an environment that didn't support whatever we want to be. We grew up in an environment that eventually didn't give us the ingredient that will make us to become a man. So we grow up trying to navigate ourselves to learning how to be a man. Then you are looking at the effect of what we are doing within ourselves. You want to advise or based on what you are saying. It's not going to work with you. Okay? So if we have to redeem the boy child, the first thing first is we must raise men who will be involved in the life of their boy child. The woman can do it. The society can do it for you. Why are you bringing up a child that you are not ready to be responsible for? Yes, I would say I might know, or maybe you were like me when you were growing up. You see, who you were, or who you were trained to be, or or who you sorry, how you were treated as a child, that is not your responsibility. You were a victim of your environment, you were a victim of your family. But who you grow to become as an adult is absolutely your responsibility. You are the only one who can navigate from being a dysfunctional boy child to a functional man. So until you become a functional man, you yourself, you cannot raise a functional boy child who will translate to becoming a functional man. So these have become a cycle. These are what most of us call um, generational causes. And to me, it's a generational pattern. It's not a cause. You transmit. Let's assume that I didn't deliver it myself. And now let me say it. My father raised me the way he was raised. My great grandfather raised my father the way he raised me. So it has been a pattern like that. He grew up not knowing his father, who his father was. Then his father also the same thing. So me the same thing. So I made every deliberate effort to put an end to that pattern that have inflicted us over the time. Sorry, I just have to hang it because it's echoing back. I have to make a deliberate effort to put an end to that pattern. So I begin to transform myself. I begin to read books. I begin to interact with men I envy. I begin to look at families. I begin to look at what I envy in this family. So I worked on myself. So you also can also work on yourself. You also can deliberately look at yourself, look at the deficiency, look at the area you have this dysfunctional state of being, and begin to work on yourself so that you can raise a generation. You can break that generational pattern. Because if you don't, you're going to transmit it to another generation. Let's assume I didn't hear that voice of God that morning. And I begin to understand what actually my problem was, that fear. You see, you can't father with fear. And you can't father with a state of confusion. You have to be precise. You have to be deliberate. That's what they call intentional parenting. You have to be deliberate about when you are giving. You see, let me tell you about the role of a man in the house. The man is the lawgiver. The man is the law enforcer. He provides leadership. Sorry, Nigeria just happened. Okay. The man is the lawgiver. The man is the law enforcer. And he provides leadership. So how can you provide leadership? Thank God. How can you provide leadership when you have not been able to lead yourself? How can you provide a law in the house when you don't have a law that is leading you? How can you enforce a law when you cannot enforce a law within yourself? You have to begin to liberate yourself from whatever pattern. First of all, look at the background you are coming from, where you want to go, what is the vision you want to, the kind of family you want to raise. You see, when I look at how I was parented, I sat down, I begin to ask myself, oh, the kind of person that I was becoming. In my quiet moment, I knew this is not the kind of person that I want to be. Uh, Doing all those social vices in my quiet moment, this is not the kind of person that I want to be. I am more than this. But how to go about it, it was more confusing for me until I begin to interact with people, begin to buy books, begin to read, begin to work on myself. It was a long journey, a very long journey, a long process, but I never gave up on myself. Even what I said, I'm not going to do this, but I still do it. I never give up on myself. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. You see, if we must raise a generation boy that is going to stand up as an army for Christ. I think the last speaker before me talked about you are the how did she put it? You are the custodian, okay? You are the caretaker of every the children that are being given to you. So how are you going to give account of those children? Are you going to say because I wasn't parented also, so I transmit the same thing down to my children is going to be from generation to generation? You have to deliberately stand up and break that pattern. It's not a cause. It has nothing to do with a cause. Nobody caused you. It's a pattern that have moved on from one generation to the generation. Now, another second damage, causes of damage of it, the boy child is when a boy child comes from a dysfunctional family. Don't forget, I said when I talked about the absence of a father, doesn't mean that the father does not live in the environment. He could live in an environment. He himself is very toxic in the environment. So he have created a toxic environment. And that toxic environment is beginning to influence everybody. So he fights with his wife, he shouts on the children, he beat them up at will, he get drunk, he comes so drunk, he comes so smoking, and he created a toxic environment because he also is a dysfunctional man. He didn't heal himself. So he brought those elements, let me use that word, to the family, and everybody is running into helter skelter. Now, let me tell you, any boy that was raised in an environment of such certainly will become an abusive man. You cannot see your father consistently beat up your mother. To get to an extent, you begin to think it's normal. Beating up a woman is normal. Forcefully get what you want to get is normal because you have seen your father. Both of them are fighting. Have you not got into a home where you say, "Oh, they don't start again," and that is their way. They are fighting every now and then. Every time is trying to look for where to go. That kind of environment, you are being programmed. If you don't deliberately disprogram yourself and rewrite another program, you are going to be that environment. The girl from that environment is going to go into a relationship. She's going to see herself If I'm not being abused, that means I'm not being loved. Or if I'm not being abusive, I'm not a man. So that is the program they're running with. And we begin to say, oh, why can't they just stop? Why can't they just stop? They don't even know the foundations of their problem. They came from a toxic environment. They didn't try as much as they can to detoxify themselves from that environment. So they jump into raising a family and they bring in that program into the family. And both of them are loggerhead. Now, no matter how well you try to raise your girl child, if you meet such a man, the man is going to brutalize the girl child. You see, most of the time, these are the reason why we have a whole lot of single mothers. Women who could stand up for themselves and say, this is not what I want. But then she's already pregnant. What is it leading her to? She's going to become a single mother. If she doesn't have the support mechanism to bounce back, and trust me, she's going to maybe probably have another kid for another man, have another kid for another man, have another kid for another man. And the society looked at her and said, why is she like this? What has she become? Why has she become like this? She came, she came, she had a contact with somebody who is toxic. And that person who is toxic have destroyed her. And now she's confused about herself. Every value you have tried to put in her is about gone through the window. She's confused about her state. Most of the time, she begins to ask herself, was that actually the problem? Was that actually the problem? You see, your good work didn't have a solid foundation. Why? Because you threw her into the midst of wolf. So, because of that, I would say, I write something down here. I said the first mental picture a child has of how the world operates is the home. The first mental picture a child has of how the world operates is the home. A child sees you. If you are an abusive parent, if you're an abusive man, that is how your son is going to think every man is going to come in contact with are going to be abusive. If you are the type that shout, he's going to think you don't want to listen to anybody. So he's going to think every man out there doesn't listen to anybody. And did you know the funniest thing? Your image is what is going to represent to see God with. I think the first speaker said something about that. You are the representative of God in the house because you are the lawgiver. Now you come with your toxicity, you didn't work on yourself. So now you are telling your child about a God he doesn't even know, that he knows, that he sees as a God. Because your children see you as a God. If you don't know, your children see you as a God. Now, you whom they see as a God is not behaving like a God. Now, you're not telling them about another God that existed somewhere they don't actually have a connection with. You are confusing them the more. But if you have been a very lovely and wonderful father, it is very easy for you to preach the God who loves them because you have shown love to them. You have shown care to them. If you tell them, oh, I have a God who loves you more than the way I love you, it's easy for them to relate. If you're teaching them, oh, there is a God who cares more about you more than me, it is easy for them to relate. Why? Because you have actually represented that figure in their life. So the home formed the first concept of love, hate, responsibility, irresponsibility, self confidence, self doubt, low self esteem, healthy self esteem, trust or distrust. All these things are formed at home. All of these things are formed. As your child is growing up, he begins to observe you, he begins to notice you, he begins to look up to you, he begins to look up to you for guidance. How are you guided? Are you allowing your toxicity to destroy them? Or you are beginning to work on yourself? And I wouldn't even advise for you to work on yourself after you marry. Start right now. You see, this conference is about enhancing everybody on how to become a better parent, how to become a proactive parent. Excuse me. How to become a proactive parent. So let it start right now. Take pen and paper and begin to ask yourself, what sort of father am I going to be to my children? What sort of father? Who was my father? How did he parent me? First of all, write that thing down. What is it that you didn't like the way you grew up, the way you were treated when you were growing up? Write it down. Now, the certainly, how would you have loved your father to treat you? Write them down. That was what helped me. How would you have loved your father to treat you? Write them down. So when the child comes, you begin to walk according to the roadmap or the plans, the blueprint you already have working on for you. Now, if I'm not at home now, maybe by 8 or 9, my wife is trying to call me. I know she's not trying to call me to find out where I am or why I'm not home yet. My son is asking, where is my daddy? My daddy hasn't come home. Where is my daddy? I want to talk to my daddy. Then my wife will pick up the phone, call me. Your son is asking after you. Oh, son, I'm coming home very soon. Okay, daddy. And when you're coming, buy so for me. Okay, boy. Then if I'm not busy in where I am, immediately I will leave and come back home. Why? Because I have promised myself to be involved the best way I can in his life and every other child I'm going to have. So you as a father, note those things down. Now let's look at solution. I'm actually shooting my time. Let's look at solution. Number one, knowledge. Knowledge. Never try to correct a behavior you don't understand the cause. Never try to correct a behavior you don't understand the cause. You need knowledge first in who you are, knowledge about how you were raised, knowledge about your father, knowledge your great grandfather, how all of them is a generational thing. You have to have a that have raised you. Then knowledge about you as an adult at the moment. Who am I? What is my state of confusion? What are my strengths? I think other speakers have talked about self-awareness and every other thing. I think Adejo's actually said mostly on those things. I think you should go back there and listen to it again. So knowledge about all these things. Then knowledge about the kind of father I want to be, I want to become. You have to write them down. You have to begin to work on it. Then uh, the second one is if you have become a father or you are a single mother, this is for you. Expose him to a respectable man figure. That means expose him to mentors. Expose him to mentors. Like I said, you can't become a man in his life. Maybe, yeah, there's some event that happened. Maybe the man died accidentally or he just japa or whatever happened. You have to expose your child to a male figure. There are a lot of mentors out there that you can connect your child with. Let them mentor him, let them teach him how to be a man. You see, let's understand this. We can't undermine the importance of a man in a boy's child life. As anointed as Jesus was, when the Mary was pregnant of Jesus, Joseph had the mind of secretly leaving Mary because he come to his knowledge that he's not the one responsible for the child. Now, what happened was God said, no, your input is needed in raising this holy child. Your input is needed in raising this holy child. So you have to stick around. You have to be the father of this child. You have to teach him how to become a boy, how to become a man. Why didn't God say, this child doesn't need a man? So Joseph, you can go. Let the Mary nurture the child by herself. And the child, God never had the intention of one parent raising a child alone. It was never his agenda. It was never in his program. So Jesus, most of the people that related with Jesus, they related with him based on, oh, the Joseph's son. Is this not the carpenter's son? They knew him to be the carpenter's son, not even as the Christ that we know him to be. So you can't deny your child the input of fatherhood. And if the father is still far, the father is ready to involve. Please and please. You see, most of the time, this thing is not all about how we feel. It's not all about how hot we are. It's not all about our pain. If we follow our pain, we will destroy the next generation. Let's look at the next generation in mind when we are making some certain decisions. If the father is ready to be involved in the boy's life, please allow him to be involved in the boy's life. And if he's not ready, if you have a father that you look up to, you know your father is able, uh, allow the boy child to spend more time with your father or your uncle that you can trust. Because that is when the child begins to learn what it takes to become a man. Okay? Then, number two, teach the boy child to be expressive in words than to be expressive with fists. You see, let me explain this. We are trying to raise a boy child, and we have started telling the boy child, oh, don't cry, you're a man. Oh, don't, keep quiet, men don't talk. Oh, why are you talking like a woman? It's only women that talk like this. You see, you are setting the boy up to become an abusive boy child in future. If a boy does not learn how to communicate with you effectively, he won't be able to know, he won't know how to communicate his feelings. You see, most of the causes of violence that we are trying to work against is because the boy didn't know how to communicate his feelings appropriately. So what happened is he leads to violence. He either communicates in words or he communicates in fists. So teach the boy child how to express himself in words. Even if you think what he's saying doesn't make sense, listen to him. Teach him how to express himself in words. Whenever anything happens, let him explain himself. Teach him how to explain himself more better than for you to try to make him to become a man. Man, don't talk. Just keep quiet. Why are you talking like a woman? Never use that word on a boy child. Allow him to express himself. Most of the time, we stifle up the voice of the boy child, and at the end of the day, we cry. You see, the confusion about the girl child is they don't even know more about the men. The confusion of the girl child, they don't even know more about the men. Every story the girl child have ever heard about a man, she heard it from the woman. And most often time, those women tell the story based on the experience they had with their relationship, in their relationship with another man. Maybe if the man they had a relationship with treated them badly, so they are going to talk in the angle of that with that man to the doctor. They're going to tell the doctor the negative side of a man. This is who the men are. No, girl, don't allow a man to take advantage of you. Your father did this to me. You see, you are actually destroying that child. You are not helping the child. So that's why it's important men begin to learn to express themselves. You see, your daughter can learn more about you if only you are expressive, if only you can talk to her, if only you can make her understand how you feel, your pains, your fears. Okay? You see, with as much as we want to be the superhero to our children, I think it's wrong. Let our children know that we are fallible, we are vulnerable. We have our fears. We have our ups and downs. We are human. We are not a God. So by so doing, you are already training your daughter how she can relate with another man. But if this is absence, is going to confuse your daughter the more what the man was look like. And she's going to take that the story of another woman, how the man's was looks like. Because men don't talk. Men don't talk. Now, fourthly, they will say your child is not your friend. Yes, I agree. Your child is not your friend, but you can use friendliness as a tool to get to your boy child, to get to your children as a man. You see, most often time, women we come home, we become like a god, a deity that is above everybody. Just come and worship and bow down and disappear. Friendliness is a tool you can use as a man to get to your children, to get to your wife. They are not your friend, you are their father, yes. Friendliness is the biggest tools, the greatest tools you can use to get to the heart of your children. In so doing, your children will trust you whatever they are going through. They can relate with you, they can talk to you, they can play with you, they can fall on your body, they can roll with you. If you are not at home, they are missing you. Friendliness is a tool that you must use. Then, lastly, before I drop the mic, sorry, yeah, before I drop the mic, observe your children biological components. This is very essential. Observe your children biological components. So how do I mean? Now I will give you an instance with my son. When I gave birth to my son, I observed he had this intense anger issue, as small as it was, about 8 months or thereabout. Well, that was when I started noticing that. I observed that he had this intense anger problem. If he wants something like this, if he doesn't have it at that moment, he's going to start throwing tantrum. If you don't hold him very well, he could fall off your hand. My wife was concerned. And because I have a little knowledge about behavioral modification, I knew what to do. Now, let's assume that I was actually, because don't forget that I said the first time is you need knowledge. But let's assume that I didn't have that knowledge about behavioral modification. This is what would have happened to my son. He would have grown up because whenever he's angry, immediately you will give him that thing he wants. What are you doing? You are reinforcing that behavior. Whenever he's crying, he's throwing tantrum, you give him that thing he wants, you are reinforcing that behavior. Now, he began to think that anger produces results. Then he grew up with that mindset. He programmed himself with that mindset. So he began to use anger whenever he wants anything. He doesn't get that what he wants. He throw tantrum. He throw tantrum. Maybe his mate will give him. Let him take that thing. And just no, 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 don't let him cry. This is what I did. I didn't shout at him. I didn't beat him. This is was my mentor. I didn't shout. Not that he's throwing tantrum. Will you shut up? You are actually giving him what he wants. Oh, will you shut up? He's spanking. You are actually giving him what he wants. What did I do? If you want this, you throw it tantrum, except food for food. Yeah, when he's hungry, he's throw it tantrum. Yeah, he needs to eat. But if you want anything, he's throw it tantrum, I will deny him of that thing. No shouting, no spanking, nothing. I'm just mean, I'm calm. He's throwing his throw tantrum. I will still hold him. I'll try to hold him. He will not get that thing. But today, my son can negotiate himself, negotiate his way for getting anything. No tantrum. Let Malcolm tell you, I need this. My son tell you, I need this. And you say, oh, I can't give you. He will not throw tantrum. I'm even more afraid of for him right now. He will not throw tantrum. What he will do is he will so negotiate his way through. He will pester you. He will make sure he follows you, whatever you are doing. He will make sure he follows. He will keep whatever. If you give him reason why you will not give him, he will bring you another. He will give you another reason why you want that thing. If you tell him why you can't give him to him, he will come up with other uh, logical reasons why you need to give him that thing. And I begin to think, yeah, this is kind of what I want, not the one who thinks that anger produces everything for him. So observe these things. If I didn't observe that, he would have become his problem while growing up. He would have become a dysfunctional adult, a man when he becomes a man. Sorry, when he becomes a man. A dysfunctional man when he becomes a man. He will beat his wife up because he can't get what he wants because he has consistently programmed himself. I wouldn't have time to actually delve into programming right now on this because my time is almost up. I wouldn't have time to delve into it. So he began to see that anger produces results. This is why we say, oh, it's not my fault. I don't even know actually what you were programmed when you didn't know. Your children, your parent didn't observe that you were actually having. You see, let me tell you, there was an argument by some scholars, psychology scholars. They said they were trying to propose solutions to the behavior of a man. Okay, some said the behavior of a man is biological. Some said the behavior of a man is what they call it nurture. That's what if you Google not nature nurture controversy, you will see it. Just Google it, nature nurture controversy. You will see it there. It was a great argument. Some said, oh, the component of man's behavior is actually biological, like what I cited, instances I cited from about my son. That anger was actually biological. It has nothing to do with environment. It was biological. So some proponent of that same this argument said it's as a result of environment, and both schools are right. Both schools are right. There is nature, there is nurture. So that's why I said from the beginning, from the onset, no matter how well you try to nurture your girl child, the nature, sorry, no matter how you try to nurture your girl, when you go to a certain environment, that certain environment will actually make her to become whom you never actually nurtured her to be. So these are most of the causes and the damages of a boy child, and these are the solutions. Number one, knowledge, 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 knowledge. I have mentioned everything I have said is based on knowledge. If I didn't have knowledge, how many books have you read or how many articles have you read about behavioral modification? You see, what we want to, we raise our children by default and we want them to be different from us. No, it will not happen. We raise our children not observing their particular traits, their natural traits, their biological traits, and we want them to be different from us. If I have anger problem, I would have been spanking my son if I have not worked on myself. If funny enough, my son is just like me. I have that quick, hot temper to throw tantrum and everything. I have it. Even till now, I'm still working on it. If I didn't observe that, and if I didn't have knowledge in that particular area, I would have raised him to become like me and would have been running up and down in the house. If you do anything, I'll be shouting, I'm straining myself. The mom will be shouting, she's straining herself. I will think, oh, maybe devil have taken over our son. It's not the devil. You didn't have the knowledge that you ought to have had when you were raising this child. You weren't observant. Bringing up a child is not enough. As the child begins to suck her hand or his or her hand, you begin to this is your responsibility as a man. As you sit down, begin to observe your child biological component. Begin to observe them one by one, one by one. Even as the child begins to learn. You see, on this conference, we have had a series of resource persons who have touched on different areas on this, and you can follow them up. If you find yourself in a certain situation, you don't understand how to handle this child, you can reach out to any of them. I'm having this problem. How will I deal with this problem? What are you doing? You are building yourself to become an effective parent. If you leave things to chances, the chance is that they are going to grow up to become who you don't actually hope them to become. So, as a roundup, let me say this to you as a man, and let me say this to you as a woman. Why God gave us children is for us to nurture them. It's not for our pleasure. It's not for our own happiness. Because we are going to die and leave the children behind. So what legacy are we leaving behind? Will these children wake up one day and say, my father, I won't have become who I am today if not for my father. Now, let me tell you, as old as I am, as big as I am with all this white baby, I still wish my father could just appear one day when we sit down and have a conversation like man to man. I wish he could just come one day because I begin to question, was it because of me? Was I the problem? Why did he love me? Was something wrong with me? I wish I have these answers. Now you have the opportunity to teach your children the kind of man that you are, the kind of man that they want you to see. Oh, if not for my dad. I think one thing I love about the convener of this program, whenever we talk, she always talked about her father, the role the father played in her life. She wouldn't have known all these things if not for her father. She was able to uh, withstand a whole lot of vices, resist them, not because she was strong, because she had a man that played a vital role in her life. So if you stand to play a vital role in the life of your children, trust me, there is nobody, there is no human being on earth that can take advantage of them. Now, let me say this. Your girl child, okay, your girl child, oh, let me use the word generally. Most of the causes of promiscuity in a girl child is not because they want sex, not because they want sex. They move from one man to one man. Some people will say, "Oh, this girl is too spoiled. Why can't she just stay in one place? If she sleep with every man that come." You see, those are effects you see. The underlying causes is what she is looking for is not sex. She's looking for a male figure, somebody who will actually teach her this is who the word of man is. She will seek for it, whether with you or without you. It is better you let her understand how the word of man operates. So she kept looking for. Then the love that you ought to have shown her as a father, she go outside looking for that love. Then it could be from the gate man, it could be from the uncle, it could be from the cause, excuse me, it could be from her teacher, it could be from anybody she trusts that she thinks she can confide in. Then she begins to look for that love. And because she's naive, she's innocent. There's an article I wrote, Victim of Innocence. It's on my wall, my Facebook page. The victim of innocence. So because she's have that innocent mind, so she began to look for that fatherly role from every man she meets. Then the men that are involved, because they also have been damaged, they begin to ask for sex. They begin to ask for sex. To her, giving sex is what being loved means. Don't forget, women give sex to have an affection. While men give an affection to have sex. So she begins to think, oh, giving sex is what it means to have an affection. And that affection is what she would have had enough. Vivian had enough affection from her father. That is why no man was able to take advantage of her. So she began to give sex to this man for her to have that affection, and the man take advantage of her looking for that affection and had sex with her. And with time, the man leave. Then she looked for another one again. 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 From one to one to one to one to one, she became promiscuous. She never get what she's looking for, because what she's looking for actually she left it at home. Then the society, it will become a time people will say, "Oh, that girl, she's a." There's a language we use. She's a bitch. Let me use that word, because it will get to a time she begin to understand that people have taken advantage of her so much that she begin to grow to become something, to begin to resist anybody that want to take advantage of her. Then we will begin to label her, because what we are seeing are the effects of what uh, of forgetting the causes of all these things. Those are as a result of the father failure. Result of the father failure. Father figure. You see now, it doesn't only affect the boy child, it also affect the girl child. You could understand the importance of a man in the home. The importance of a man in the home. The man is the one. You see, the first day when God created the man, He gave him also much. He gave him the law. He gave him everything. Oh, He's the giver of law. He's the one to channel this law to everybody that He come in contact with. He is the one to do this. He's the one to do this. He's the one to protect. He is the one to fight. He's the one to do this. Why? For what? because it is what God had put into him. So when men begin to fail, I think the program was, on my birthday, I said why men slept and the enemy came and so ties. What we are seeing is as a result of men's failure. The social vices, the crisis we are seeing is not as a women's failure. It's nothing to do with women, because women are ought to have be under an umbrella of a man. She's supposed to be protected. She's supposed to be nurtured. That is the duty of a man, to nurture the wife, to nurture the woman. That is what the responsibility that God gave man. Not to brutalize her, not to puncture her, not to see her as a punching bag. Why? Because he have a problem within himself. So women it's time for us to begin to rise up and begin to take our place. That is when let's wake up from our slumber. We have been sleeping all this while. We have actually, yeah, I understand. If somebody like me can wake up and become who I am, I'm not saying I don't have my struggle still. I have my struggle. I'm still becoming better. Paul said, I forget those things. I'm still pressing forward. I'm still pressing forward to apprehend that thing in which I was apprehended of. So I'm still pressing. I still want to become a better person. I move from one level to the other. I'm pushing. And I have taken it upon myself to begin to teach young men how you can actually become a man, irrespective of what you have done or what has been done to you. So, men and women, see, no, let me talk to the man now. See yourself as the lawgiver, as the shield. You see, there's what they call an umbrella. Okay, an umbrella. You see yourself as that umbrella that your wife, your children stayed under, and they are safe. And they are always happy to come back under other umbrella, irrespective of where they go. They always like to come back under that umbrella, because under that umbrella there is safety. Under that umbrella there is no threat. Under that umbrella there is affection. Now, many women want an affection from. I think I was talking to the coach Vivian. I said women look for affection from a man who doesn't even know what affection is. All his life, he doesn't know what affection is. Then you are looking for an affection from that man. And funny enough, you're not going to get that affection. And that not getting that affection is going to frustrate you. Why is this man? Because women feel loved by by some deep level of affection being expressed towards them. Okay, and when they are not getting that kind of affection, they begin to feel this man doesn't love me. I don't think this man loves me. Because why? I'm not having the kind of affection I want. But you never realize knowledge. You never realize that him himself does not even have an affection. He have never been given. He doesn't even know what affection is like. How can I give what I don't have? How can I give what I don't have? I think I have overshoot my time. Coach Vivian. Okay, because I actually want to quickly take some questions before I jump into other programs that I have by 6. Can you hear me? I hope I wasn't be talking to myself all this while. Okay, actually, I wanted to see the comment section, because where I am, I can't see the comment section. I can't see any questions. I wanted her to come up and bring out the questions so that actually I can deal with the questions then before the next speaker come on board.
Wow, this session is something else. My network was booting me out, and I couldn't come, I
Okay.
couldn't come in. I couldn't
Mm,
come in when and because I was writing, because I was at the backstage writing, my note is
mm.
filled. Oh, Prince, are you seeing?
I can see.
My note is filled. So I was engrossed with writing and writing and writing, you know, and the network started behaving funny. I just focused on my
Yeah.
writing. This is explosive. And
Mm.
people, send your love emojis to Prince. Like, this is just sending your love emoji. Sending your love emoji. I want to see love emojis. What we share here in the Proactive Parents Academy and Conference is that we we share a lot of love. Like, love emoji is our own, even though we share fire emojis to show how we are getting the rema, but we prefer to send in the love first. Send in your love, send in your love, send in your love emojis. Like, this is beautiful. This is awesome. We are so grateful. Thank you very much, sir, for being vulnerable. You
Thank
know,
you.
we have this culture in this part of the world where men are infallible. I know that infallibility is a narrative for parents generally. Parents are there, the children are here. So infallibility is our narrative, especially in this part of the world. Then it is more intense with the men. The men are infallible. Their
Mm.
wives can have no opinion. They can't talk to them on what to do. They can't share. In fact, conferences like this, you see very few men, very, very few men,
Very, very
because
few
they're
men.
not
That is the
intentional
problem.
about replicating.
Mm.
And that's why I'm grateful to you that you're using your story to share and tell other men why it is important, because they are the ones to give the law, they are the ones to give the leadership, they are the ones to give everything, the support and everything, not really the control that they are seeking to have. You don't need to
Mm.
fight for control if you know what to
No.
do. You don't need to. Send in your love emojis. I can see
Fighting for control is an indication that you actually have not, you don't know what to do. When you start
exactly,
telling your, oh, I'm the man of the house, that means you don't know how to handle your home. You don't need to tell anybody. You
exactly,
don't need to fight for control. It comes like, you
exactly,
see, leadership is about influence. You influence
exactly,
people, and when you influence
exactly.
them, they naturally follow you.
Exactly, sir. Wow, people are raving you in the comment section, and I'm saying, guys, send in your love emojis. People are raving you. You can see your screen. People are thanking you. People are raving you. You know, people are saying
Thank you,
yes,
thank
yes,
you, thank
yes.
you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
People
thank
are
you.
saying facts over facts, causes over, is it causes and effect? I don't know what she wants to say, but they are raving you and raving you and raving you. My goodness. This is many families are okay. Can you see your screen? Read.
Yeah, but it's very fair. Let me see. I'm beginning to have a.
Many families literally are clear representation of what you're saying. Thank you so much for this also.
If you can read it out for me, let me.
Okay, they said, she said, or he said, many families literally are clear representation of what you're saying. Thank you so much for this awesome talk.
Thank you very
Wow.
much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
Wow.
you. God bless you. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, Zia also said this is one of the most important parts. Teach the boy child how to communicate with words. They are affirming to what you're saying, and then another person
Mm.
says, yeah, God protect my girl child since her father has never been there. Oh my God. Thank you for this awareness. Oh my God. Can you see the conversation you just had?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Can you see?
Thank you,
So
thank you, thank you.
people are thanking you. Uchenna said, wow, you are great.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you,
Uchenna
thank
said,
you,
you are great. Thank you so much, sir.
thank
The
you.
love emojis are coming in and flooding you. People are flooding you with love emojis. Like it's so amazing. You know,
Thank
guys,
you.
I said at the end of the session, I'm going to be sharing my own personal profile about Prince Alex. You know, he's one of my blessings in the on the online space. And then we got connected, and he became a friend, a brother, a close mentor, my own personal coach. Like, he became everything, part and parcel of my family. Yes, because I met a man who is also vulnerable and who also wants to use his life to share to the world and tell other men that they can do better. I'm not a man, not we, that they can do better. And it's so, like, he's an inspiration. He's an inspiration, you know, and all of the things he has been able to do and he is doing in the different spheres. He said, like in the beginning, he shared about his Mind View Institute, where, you know, he works with people to reprogram how we were programmed that are not serving us. And then he works with the youth, he works with the boy child, and in the academy, he's one of our resource people. Like I told you yesterday, we are working in the Build a Home tribe with professionals and resource people who are directly giving answers to your problems, or your challenges rather, your challenges in parenting, in one angle or the other, you know. And he is one of our plug. Like, we don't joke with him. We don't joke with him. Like, before before you have, I said, these are people that it takes us everything to reach out to them or get them, but they just submitted to themselves to, you know, impact others, live out their life, impacting others, sharing with others, because this is something they have signed up and it is their calling to do this. These are people that ordinarily to get access to them is difficult, like is difficult. So we are grateful, sir. And for people who have not known, if you're seeing your screen, you will know that the Build Your Home Tribe is ongoing, registration is ongoing. And this is one of the places where we handhold parents to walk in bits and pieces in our process and our journey, daily, weekly, monthly, and annually. It runs annually. And so many of these professionals, you're going to be having access to them, direct access to them, you know, giving you, hand holding you and giving solutions to area of your challenges directly. Is, you know, in the conference here, they are all addressing us collectively, but in the tribe we work individually according to a specific need of a home or a specific need of your parenting. And so he's our plug in raising the boy child. He's one of our plug. He's not just telling or sharing with us what he was able to do and how he was able to navigate. He's sharing his life. He's giving out his life to the world. And I think that's the highest sacrifice any human can make. Ability to share your life with your world, ability to share your life with your generation. He has so many other engagements. I know you, like he said, he also runs a TV program and plenty of other things that he told us in the beginning of this session. But that notwithstanding, he has invested his life in also helping to raise and build, the next generation of boys that are going to be responsible and taking over the baton from them, the men that are living now. So he is my everything. Thank you so much. I don't take it for granted that you're here this evening. You run to him anytime, he's ready to answer you. Whenever we call on him, he's ready to answer us. Like, he's been an amazing gift of God that I have accessed. When you have access to the gifting of men, you will know that you're truly blessed. I am blessed because I've really,
Thank
really
you.
accessed the gift of men. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank
I
you
don't
for
take it for
having me.
granted. I am
Thank you for having
grateful. Already, you know that you have an assignment in the Proactive Parents Academy,
me. Yeah,
and
certainly.
we will be coming for you over and over again. And
I'm
we are
available.
sure.
I'm
Thank you so
available.
much, sir.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very
Thank you
much.
for
We are
having me.
grateful.
Thank you.
So,
It's all right.
because we don't have questions, your session was through all of us off balance.
Mm.
Like, everybody was everywhere is chilled, and so we are just reviewing you in the comments. We don't specifically have questions that you need to answer us, but if they drop while you've gone, we'll bring it up for you to also
Okay,
answer, and
that's
we
fine.
share on our social media handles. Thank you
That's
so
fine.
much for being here.
So,
God
bye bye,
bless you,
everyone.
and do have an amazing evening.
Are you too?
So, guys, this is it for the second session. The third session is starting in a moment. The power of a praying parent. Don't go away. Let others know and let them know what we should be doing spiritually also. Prayer is one of our plug as parents. And then the next speaker will be coming to share with us, what does praying parents mean? Is it just that we are babbling once and pouring our pain, or that there's a way we should be doing it and be connecting to God? Do not leave. We'll be bringing in the next speaker in a moment so that this fire will continue. Thank you so much, people, and see you again in the next session.